जिंदगी
Walking through Kambu Icefall is a life-threatening.
Mountain climbing totally risky.
Extreme situations such as storms, avalanche, crevasse falls.
Weather is not very good today.
बुलंदी से बुलंदी की तरफ जाते हैं।
अल्लाह से कनेक्टेड होते हैं।
ये तो इतनी छोटी सी बच्ची है, ये कैसे माउंट एवरेस्ट सर कर सकती है?
एक लड़की अगर एक पहाड़ सर कर सकती है तो वो कुछ भी कर सकती है।
Welcome to Trailblazers. My name is Hina Velji and I am honored to be your host for today. Today's guest is Samina Baig. Samina is the first Pakistani woman to climb Mount Everest and the K2 summit. She began climbing when she was just 4 years old. By the age of 23, she climbed the highest mountains on each of the 7 continents. Today, we will speak with her about what influenced her to scale the highest mountains and her goal to promote human rights and education for women in Pakistan. With climate change and its potential devastating effects on everyone's mind, Samina's question to you all: what type of world do you want to live in by 2030? Thank you, Samina, for being on the show. So, Samina, you are world's renowned in the climbing world for your accomplishment as the first Pakistani woman to climb Mount Everest. You could have stopped there. What made you to decide the 8 other summits, and what does this accomplishments mean to you?
Climbing mountains and the highest mountains in each continent has been my dream. And it is not only just the mountain climbing. Our aim and our mission was to promote gender equality and women empowerment in the country, and also encourage more girls to participate in outdoor sports and winter sports.
That's so great. So, Samina, you belong to the remotest valley of Shimshal in Hunza region of the northern areas of Pakistan. As a Pakistani Muslim woman, you have an unconventional path. What kinds of challenges have you faced along the way?
Well, the challenges I faced was, I had really huge challenges because number one, I was from this very remote village, which was disconnected from the world till 2003. There was no road, there was no communication, there was no internet. So we were like totally cut off from the world. So I had no idea of how outer world seems like or looks like. So when I went on my first expedition, I met different people from different countries, and that was, that was a big challenge, communicating with people, interacting with people, and also, being a Muslim woman and going on an expedition, there was definitely challenges of, privacy and, being a woman, you have all sort of challenges. But yeah, I overcome all those challenges because I love mountain climbing, and for that, I can overcome any challenges.
Great, Samina. Professional athletes face failures on their path to success. As a professional mountaineer, I'm sure you had unsuccessful climb. Any moment or any experience that you want to share, and how did you overcome it?
Well, as a mountaineer, when you go on the mountains, you are mentally prepared, you are physically prepared, but at the end of the day, it is the mountain who decides either you will climb it or not, either you will summit it or not. So back in 2010, when I started my climbing career, I summited this unclimbed peak in the summers, and it was successful. And then we tried something different, and that was attempting 6,000 meter peaks in winters. And in winters, the temperature and everything is like totally different. It's very harsh. So I turned back around 100 meters short from the summit because I didn't have proper kit, proper equipment. So it was very, very cold. So I had to turn back. That was my first experience, how it feels, when you fail in achieving something. But then I kept going. And second time, it was K2. Mount K2 has been my dream. I would rather say my ultimate dream. And then I had 2 attempts before this year, and I couldn't make it to the summit. It's always very, very hard. It's always very, very challenging, because you work very hard. The preparation is very, very, you have to prepare very well. And when you don't make it to the summit, or when you don't succeed, it's very, very challenging for an athlete, because, you put a lot of effort and a lot of expense and everything. But then, you have to keep telling yourself that this is not the end, You have to keep trying. And then, when you have a dream, no one can stop you when you're committed. So, I just kept telling myself that one day you will make it.
I'm sure this story of resilience will motivate a lot of youth through this video. My next question is, how has your family upbringing and the environment that you were raised in foster your drive?
Well, I come from a very humble background. My father was a farmer and my mother was a housewife. And where I come is, the village where I was born and raised. I still remember life was very tough. It was very tough to live in that village. But then, my family, my family made sure that I should be very strong. I should be independent, and whatever I want to achieve in life, I should be strong enough to achieve that goal. And also, I remember that my parents used to tell me that stay connected to your roots, never forget your roots, your values, and the culture and heritage. So these are the things which they built in me, and then I try my best to follow the path they have shown to me.
Talking about the values, what are some of the values that your family has instilled?
Well, like when I go back to my village, I meet the people, and I try to just be normal as I was before. And then the culture, I should carry on the culture, the beautiful culture which we have. And then I feel proud that, I represent my country, and, the culture which I have. Wherever I go, I proudly represent it.
So your brother Mirza Ali is your big supporter, and I would say a trailblazer in his own right. He taught you how to be a mountaineer, and he was around 248 meters behind you. What role has Mirza Ali played during your journey?
Well, I will give the credit to my brother Mirza Ali, because I remember when I was a small kid, he used to tell me stories about mountain climbing. And from the very first day, it was in my head that I will become a mountaineer, because it was always him, telling me stories about mountain climbing and women climb mountains. But then when I was able to climb mountain, because for mountain climbing you need to be like physically super fit and then mentally super fit. So we started climbing together. So I think it's him who actually worked really, really hard to get me in this sports, because it's not easy sport. And he himself is a wonderful, wonderful climber. And also, he used to climb as a high altitude guide, but then he quit doing that, and then he wanted to introduce women, or give opportunity to women to come in this sports. So his vision was to empower women through adventure sports, and promote winter tourism and outdoor sports in the country. So he's my mentor, of course, and we have done all these climbs together, the 7 summits and Everest. So yeah, he's a wonderful brother, and he's a wonderful climber.
Great, Samina. In an article from The Independent in July 2019, you talk about your stories from Mount Everest, but not being able to get funding. And you said, the reality is that in our society, women athletes, be it any sports, do not get the same support as the male athlete. Your brother is a perfect example of allyship and men supporting women. How can we build on this momentum for female athletes?
Well, I think this is a harsh reality. Even today, it exists in our society, and I mean, maybe at that time I said women, but generally there is when it comes to support or financial support, we are lacking, and I would love to see people supporting female athletes in any sports, so they can achieve their goals or their dreams. So yeah, I think we need to support girls more, because somehow boys can manage, but we need to support girls.
Great. How did you support your expedition? Did you receive any external help outside of your family?
Well, definitely yes, because as I said, we are from small village, and we cannot afford expeditions like Everest and then 7 summits and then K2, because when you go on expedition, it's mountain climbing is very expensive sport, the gears and everything. And second thing is we don't find any climbing kits here in Pakistan, so we have to import everything from different countries. So it's very, very expensive, and the logistic was and everything. It's a very expensive sport. So definitely we met some really amazing people. My brother's friend from New Zealand, they sponsored our expeditions. Most of the, Everest was sponsored by the New Zealanders, and 2 out of 7 was sponsored by Aziz Sharif Bhai, and then Denali was sponsored by the American lady. So yeah, we were like blessed to meet these people, and who made it possible for us. And then other than that, I remember after climbing Everest, we had meeting at Serena Hotel, and all the ambassadors were there, where we have these mountains, the 7 summits. So we had a meeting, and then we shared the idea of adventure diplomacy, and then Serena Hotel came in, and they were like providing us logistic support, so it was obviously a huge contribution, but yeah, of course, all these people made it possible for us to achieve all these milestones.
So Samina, most recently you climbed K2, the second highest mountain on earth located here in Pakistan. Give us some idea how you trained yourself physically and mentally.
K2 was my ultimate dream, as I said before. I attempted K2 before twice. I couldn't succeed. And then, I worked hard each time I attempted this mountain, because you need a lot of strength and you need a lot of stamina to climb this mountain, because K2 is one of the most challenging mountain. And I have summited Everest and then the 7 summits, but this one was the most challenging one. And the terrain on the mountain and the weather conditions on the mountain is very, very harsh. And then of course the risks on the mountain is double, like the rockfall, avalanche, and bad weather. So, mentally, you can prepare yourself that anything can happen on the mountain. So you have to be ready to face any challenge on the mountain. And of course, physically, when you're not fit, you cannot climb any mountain. So, every year, I normally train around the year, but I never go to gym. It's just natural training. I go for hiking and trekking mostly. So that's how I train for my expedition.
So, Samina, your passion for climbing seems to have much more deeper meaning than summiting the world's second highest mountain. What issues are important to you?
Well, I'm a nature lover. I love mountains. So when we go to the mountains, it's the most pure part of this planet Earth. And one thing which is very concerning for me is the way we are polluting our Mother Earth. As a human being, wherever we go, we put trashes everywhere, which is, for me is very, very, heartbreaking. And, as a nature lover, wherever I go, I make sure that I bring the trash which I have with me. So I would love everyone, whoever goes to the nature or whoever is a nature lover, they should make sure that where they're going, they make sure that they keep the area clean. Either it's mountains, either it's glacier, or either it's anywhere on the planet Earth. So these are the issues which is very concerning, and we need to work on them as an individual.
Yes, I agree with you, Samina. So, being a global citizen of the world, I think we should reduce our carbon footprint.
Yeah.
Distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It's a great honor to be here today at the Responsible Business Forum on Sustainable Development. Firstly, I would like to take this opportunity to congratulate Global Initiatives and the United Nations Development Programme for convening this forum, which implores us to search for practical solutions across the area of climate action, urbanization, circular economy, human rights, and food and nutrition. These 5 areas are critical to the attainment of the Sustainable Development Goals. As the first Pakistani woman to have climbed Mount Everest, I am extremely pleased as my role as the National Goodwill Ambassador for Pakistan. In leading efforts to build national awareness and partnerships around the Sustainable Development Goals, particularly those related to climate action, environment protection, and women's empowerment. Pakistan is amongst the most vulnerable countries in the world to climate change. To safeguard economic development for future generations, we must prepare for its effects and institute environmental protections.
In your address at the Responsible Business Forum on Sustainable Development Goals, you asked this question: what world do we want to live in by 2030? How would you answer this? What is your vision?
By 2030, I would love to see the world where everyone has basic education and, most importantly, clean air. Beside that, as my vision or my dream is to build an institution, mountaineering institution in Pakistan, where we can educate our youth, Mountaineering or outdoor sports is a huge science in the world, but unfortunately, I mean, till today, we don't have these opportunities in our country. So I would love to, see that we have an institution in our country where our youth can learn more about the world and about outdoor sports and winter sports.
Today, the impacts of climate change are unprecedented in scale. We have every reason to act together to ensure our commitments are met and that we leave a better world for our future generations. Sustainable Development Goals have recognized that environmental targets are an integral part of core development, emphasizing that poverty reduction and social progress are closely related to environmental protection. Equality of opportunity and of access are at the heart of the 2030 Agenda for Sustainable Development. We must do our best to ensure that no one is left behind and that disparities within and between countries are being addressed.
Maulana Hazramam has spent much of his life working to improve the quality of life around the globe, eliminating poverty and promoting human dignity. How has the work of Imamat influenced your life and your career trajectory?
Well, where we are today is definitely because of our beloved Hazar Imam. In Shimshal, we had no road, we had no communication, we had nothing, but we had Diamond Jubilee School. And the way AKDN is working, AKRSP is working for the betterment of our community, and not only our community, the world around, is incredible. And of course, it's his guidance that we are here today.
Among the areas where we can find common ground is our mutual effort to address the problem of persistent global poverty, especially the endemic poverty of the developing world. Surely this is an area where we can listen and learn and grow together, establishing ever stronger bonds of understanding. One of the great principles of Islam, in all its interpretations, is the elimination of poverty in society and philanthropy's centrality in this duty.
Samina, you were being featured on the show highlighting Ismaili excellence. What does excellence means to you and the work that you do?
Well, excellence to me is to be perfect at whatever you do in life. And, featuring me was, an honor for me. So, whatever you do in your life, try to be the best version of yourself.
What advice do you want to give to the aspiring young youth who share the same passion as yours on sustainability and sports and are looking to make an impact in the world?
Well, to youth, my only message is never quit. Nothing is impossible in life. When you work hard, when you believe in yourself, and when you are committed, then nothing is impossible. The only thing is you have to have passion and you have to work hard, and you can achieve any goal or any dream in your life. So work hard and keep going.
Thank you, Samina, for taking out time and being on the show. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much.
Collés aux planches veulent d'abord apprendre à connaître la piste, à s'en accommoder. De 14h à 17h, va s'entraîner à descendre, décontracté, bien penché en aval, droit comme un trait.